Austin, Texas, out to the old SAC base at Bergstrom. I had family that saw it back in the 60s. I've had family currently in special operations that, yeah, that's there, but I'm not going to talk about it. You can see the snorkels on 290 out there to get air from the underground railways where they move nukes back and forth 60, 70 miles up to Fort Hood. So all of this is happening. All of this is going on beneath the surface. And here's the big issue. Russia's bunkers are for their people. Switzerland's bunkers are for their people. Our bunkers are luxury COG for the government and the elite. But the elite know that living in a bunker isn't very fun, so they're moving to New Zealand. Good luck moving to New Zealand or the Cook Islands or Grand Cayman or Barts or wherever, or Luxembourg if there's a nuclear war. I mean, it's ridiculous. Elites are even moving out of England and Israel and Switzerland. But they're so chutzpah-driven, so arrogant, that they've got to control everything. They've got to take over the world, even if it means they could destroy it. So this is really a message to the establishment. Listen, your best plan is restoring freedom and restoring transparency in the West and not starting war with the Russians and not going for global domination like Hitler and so many other thugs of history like Napoleon. You're not going to be safe in New Zealand. You're only going to be safe not incinerating the globe. And that leads me to the tragic jetliner downing where they claim the pilot nosedived it into the ground because he was depressed. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. What I do know is that's an example of how one of the most trusted industries out there, professional pilots, some of the best people psychologically out there, can still have bad actors. And historically, dictators always think that they're invincible. And they can crash entire civilizations into the ground. They can bring down whole empires, whole countries, until nuclear weapons came along. Now they can bring down the whole planet. Don't think, ladies and gentlemen, that we'll always be here. I never, in all my years studying history, saw a general or an admiral or a president cavalierly say, we came, we saw, Gaddafi died. Oh, we ought to just kill a bunch more Russians in body bags and ship them back.
We came, we saw, he died.
The only way the United States can have any effect in this region and turn the tide is to start killing Russians by killing so many Russians that even Putin's media can't hide the fact that Russians are returning to the motherland in body bags.
People like General Scales are out of their minds. Just cavalierly talking about attacking Russia, and they're sending in armored brigades to fight them right now in Ukraine. That is their historical birthplace and doorstep. This is the type of megalomania that destroys countries and destroys planets. And we are now at the crossroads, and our elite don't have bunkers for us. The Russians and the Swiss do. We don't have bunkers. You know what the designated fallout shelter is? Growing up in Dallas, we see these. Now it's not even there. They've taken the signs down. Designated nuclear fallout shelter is underground parking garages where you go to sleep out the nuclear winter and starve to death. With 90% plus of the public urban and not self-sufficient, can you imagine a depression? All hell would break loose. We have 50 million people in soup lines. They're just digital now. Can you imagine the breakdown? And then when individuals try to prep and get prepared, we're kooks and we're crazy, while the government is digging in like it's the end of the world and carrying out policies that could trigger that. So we're living in unprecedentedly dangerous times. Our borders are wide open, but they've got all these military drills going on to take on the Tea Party and gun owners. We have an insane ruling class. They hate the Russians because they're independent. They hate Texans because they're independent. They hate anybody that wants to be sovereign. They hate anybody that doesn't want to be a slave. They hate anybody that's got a fighting spirit. They hate anybody who's manly, anybody who's strong. These people are crazy. They already rule the planet pretty much, but they got to mop up the few areas they don't dominate. And when they do get full control, what do? Jack up the taxes, break up our families. We have an evil elite, a bunch of unaccountable, crazy bankers who, when they make bad bets like John Corzine of Goldman Sachs, steal people's accounts to pay it off and don't even get in trouble. They're dangerous. They're running a global Ponzi scheme with nuclear weapons. That's it for this report. The Russians have bunkers. They're building more. Everybody else has bunkers. For some of their population at least, we have nothing. Nothing. While our elite push World War III and have Pentagon reports going, a nuclear war would be survivable and quite reasonable. We should start using tactical nukes more often. And generals on TV talking about killing more Russians and starting a war with them. It is very, very dangerous. I'm Alex Jones signing off for the special emergency report. You are insane as viewers and listeners, and I'm begging you, please get this video, email it, post it to Facebook, get it out to everybody you know, send it out on Twitter. We've got to stop nuclear war. The preparations have never been more intense, and the public's being taught it's not a danger anymore. We've got to get a hold of this problem right now. Alex Jones signing off. If you're watching this transmission, you are the resistance against global extermination and insanity. We are common sense, and nowadays having common sense like being some kind of superhero.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
InfoWars Life and InfoWarsLife.com is extremely excited to announce our latest release, Winter Sun, a revolutionary type of vitamin D3. Winter Sun is a premium quality vitamin D3 nutritional supplement. It is produced by extracting oil from healthy, nutrient-dense plants known as lichens. Every batch is analyzed for purity and D3 content. It's completely free of toxins and allergens. Simply put, if you want the best at an extremely low price, this is it. Winter Sun is the result of our pursuit of the best source of vitamin D3. The research and development took over 2 years, but the result, as verified by independent laboratories, is the best vegan vitamin D3 product in the world. Read the facts at InfoWarsLife.com about Winter Sun Vitamin D3. Not only does vitamin D3 promote a healthy mood, but vitamin D supports our memory and brain function, something the globalists are targeting. Visit InfoWars.com today or call 888-253-3139.
As the New World Order continues to tighten its grip on every facet of our lives, we're all asking ourselves, how can we maintain our independence? The answer is clear. Get prepared, and you get prepared now. Now the only question left is, where do we begin? My Patriot Supply is here to help. Call 800-247-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. We're even covering the cost of shipping. Are you willing to rely on the government and FEMA in the event of an emergency? Call 800-274-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. You won't be able to find this deal online, and there is a strict limit of 4 per caller, so don't wait. Call now, 800-274-3070. That's 800-274-3070. Call right now.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. We're going to go back to our callers on Jade Helm, the Jade Helm exercise. But before we do, I want to put this in kind of a perspective. You know, we need to talk about what the size, the scope, and the mission of the military should be. That's a discussion that if we still have a country that is not a dictatorship, we should be able to have that kind of discussion and not be labeled anti-military, not be labeled as unpatriotic. We need to ask, is there any limit to the size of the military? What is that limit, if such a limit does exist? You know, we just had a new budget come out, a quarterly through February. They said $1.2 trillion, a record amount of federal taxes brought in, $1.2 trillion, yet that still doesn't cover the tab. We're still running a $386 billion deficit. So you've got Rand Paul proposing that we do what? That we increase military spending. That's what Rand Paul did. According to Time magazine, said in an olive branch to defense hawks hell-bent on curtailing his White House ambitions, the Libertarian Senator Rand Paul introduced a budget amendment late Wednesday calling for nearly $190 billion infusion in the defense budget over the next 2 years, roughly a 16% increase. Now, in fairness to Rand Paul, he is trying to offset some of that with cuts elsewhere. There was a battle that kind of came up between Paul and Rubio that Politico reports about. They say a 2016 brawl breaks out on the Senate floor between potential presidential candidates, Marcos Rubio, Ted Cruz, and Rand Paul. Of course, Rand Paul, they all want to increase the defense spending. But Rubio did not want to have any of the cuts that Rand Paul suggested. And what Rand Paul wanted to do was to cut some money, $21 billion from foreign aid, $14 from the National Science Foundation, climate change operations, $10 billion from the EPA, the Department of Commerce, $20 billion from the Department of Education. You get the idea. About $106 billion Rand Paul would cut. But he would still be increasing the defense budget by $190. Now, he said, we can't keep borrowing more money from China to send to Pakistan. But, you know, we can't keep borrowing more money, period. The bankers have us essentially on a reverse mortgage loan. That's what the Federal Reserve has been doing. We haven't been covering our bills for any of the years for a very long time. That's why we have such a large debt. You know, the debt is the accumulation of the annual deficits that we run. And so we're still running through that. Now, as Politico points out with these three Republicans, you got Marco Rubio, who basically didn't want to have any cut. You got Rand Paul, who would basically offset half of the increase. And then where was Ted Cruz? Well, he kind of vacillated in the middle and then essentially wound up siding with Marco Rubio and Lindsey Graham. That's right, the neocons who want to run this through. In an interview with Politico, Rand Paul lambasted his foes and said that they were engaging in reckless, irresponsible behavior, showing that they lacked the courage and the conviction to rein in the country's mountain of debt. Well, I agree, but I think we need to step back and we need to say, how much more are we going to grow the military? That's a very concerning thing, and that's what Reason points out. As they talk about, yes, okay, fine, it's fair to say that Rand Paul would offset some of this increase, but they say more than ever, we need someone who's going to argue that $600 billion is more than enough to secure the safety and the security of U.S. citizens and interests. Well, you know, I don't think that it's necessarily securing our safety. It may actually be working against it to have a standing military. We need to go back to what James Madison said. Human nature doesn't change. It hasn't changed in 200 years, and he knew from history how this is going to break down. And he said, a standing military force with an overgrown executive, in other words, the kind of guy we've got right now, the kind of guy we're likely to have, or woman, if we replace him with Jeb Bush or with Hillary Clinton, will destroy liberty. He says the means of defense against foreign danger have always been the instruments of tyranny at home. He points out that happened in the Roman Empire, it was happening in his day in Europe, and it is happening right now in America. Stay with us right after the break, and callers, I'm going to come back to Doug, Wayne, Will, and Antonio. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
The knowledge in the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operations.
You let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime Directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun and you can feel it.